Hello Leo, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm here to do your next reading, Leo. I pre-shuffled the cards for you, Leo, and I have three, for now unknown cards, and one more that wanted to present itself from one of the decks, and I didn't shuffle for this. I picked a card. Chose the Justice card, Libra energy. Well, I had a feeling of when I was pre-shuffling with this deck here, I had a flipper called the Magician and the Mirror. There is some kind of opposition here. Maybe something about the legal system even, or this is what happens in the courtroom, right? Or if you feel judged by someone, that they point to something that you may have said or done, or something you represent, something you are, and they judge it. It means usually that they are not like you. If they were like you, they wouldn't judge you. So you stand in front of someone, or you could be standing in front of something that is not like you, more an opposite like you. The Magician and the Mirror suggest an opposite, a reflection, but not you, right? This can be many, many things. This can be, a brother or sister. You grow up in the same family, so you are the same, but you're not the same. You can have very different opinions inside that family, right? But because you share the last name and you come from the same family, you are somewhat the same, but not the same. You can have this in friend groups, you can have it amongst colleagues at work, you can have it, this can be a boss. Again, look at him, he stands up here on this pedestal. The judgment, the voice of someone here who casts a just judgment. Fight for justice and equality, rulings made in your favor, don't give up. It is an upright card, so we can hope that this is an advice, perhaps. An advice, and it has to do with this card here. An advice about a situation with this. If you are dealing with a situation where you feel you could be judging yourself, right? That there could be something where you feel that you have done poorly, or you have somehow some kind of bad conscience in some way. But the Justice card definitely has this tune to it that something is pointing a finger here. Projecting something. Saying something. Maybe they're writing to you. Let's say this is from the legal system. It could be another person. This could talk about Uranus, the Great Awakener. That is maybe showing you something. I don't know why I get that actually, but maybe feeling awakened, like it's like there's something you. It is a purple card, which for me suggests that, it can be, like an earthy legal system that we talk about, but because this is purple, it can feel a little bit like that, like the hands of God are involved. That there is some kind of higher universal judgment in this. Doesn't have to be, it could be. It's almost like something is directing you, right? Like something has a say in the matter here. This can be your own consciousness, like if you have a consciousness of judgment, that you easily point fingers at others. I don't necessarily see Leos as that, like it could be, doesn't have to be. You could be cross-watching for a Leo, and maybe you feel that there's something going on here. Maybe you have opinions about them, they have opinions about you. The opposite of you, Leo, is Aquarius, right? And Aquarius, being a fixed sign, can be quite stubborn in their ways. If you stand in front of an opposite, as this could suggest, and the Magician of the Mirror that came out during the pre-shuffle, like standing in front of an oppositional energy that is not like you, like they are your utter opposite. Sometimes it can be difficult to accept an opposite energy or even appreciate it. I've said before in some other reading that, well, you need a pure opposite to figure out who you are. Like, if you are only surrounded with people that are like you, you don't know where your boundaries are. You don't know exactly what defines you. Like you are part of a group that is exactly the same. When you come outside that group and you meet something that is different than you, this is where this sharpens. Like the awareness of your core sharpens. Because they may be challenging that, right? They don't have the same values. Like they don't have the same priorities as you have. They don't have maybe the same work ethic. Or they don't like, the things you think are funny, they don't like that. And the things they find funny and interesting, you hate that, right? So when you come across someone who is your opposite, yeah, they are a great challenge to even power, you could say. You know, for a very powerful fire sign, power is a thing, right, Leo? In your life, it's very important. And standing in front of an energy that is just challenging that, like or not accepting your power, right? That they negate it, or they just like disregard it somehow. That could be like a power struggle. If you engage in it, of course. You can choose not to. But that's what I've talked about that a lot, actually, this idea of there's a comfort zone with our friends, right? Those who choose us and we choose them. There's a likability here. There is something entangled, intertwined likability here, and comfort. it's easier to be here than it is with an opposite. It takes a lot of understanding and tolerance and you could say an equal amount of devotion to like be with an opposite. Opposites attract, we say, but it's difficult for them to stay together. We see that with the divorce rates, right? Divorce rates. That if opposites come together and they are very attracted to each other and everything is hot and feisty in the beginning and everything, they may get married here, they may have children here. Those years. And then at some point it's like they're just, because now, you know, you have many other things coming up. Your everyday life, your work, your priorities, right? Who takes care of the children? Who stays home when they are sick? Like there are many different things that come up if you are with an opposite. If you're with a soulmate over here, who thinks like you, acts like you, have the same values as you, likes the same food perhaps, it's so much easier. Or you could say you have drama here and you have more peace here. So what is it you're looking for? Usually there is a sense of balance, right? Maybe you have a lot of opposition when you are at work, that you have to deal with a lot of stuff when you are at work. And when you get home, maybe you have a soulmate there and it's more peaceful there. But if you have drama both places, or you could say comfort both places, it's like that you need something. It's like if it's drama, it's too stressful. So we would be inclined to seek out maybe hobbies or other friends where there is a little more comfort. If you have too much peace here and too much harmony here, or maybe not too much, but if you have harmony and peace here, well then maybe you need a hobby that is, you know, challenging you. You climb that Mount Everest, right? You like there is this need to be pushed in some, or to somehow, because an opposite is the only one that can make you grow as a person or as a soul. They will challenge you in all the areas where you potentially could evolve. So staying with a very comfortable partner is beautiful. It can be beautiful. As a person, though, you will develop with each other much slower, because there is no like power struggle or challenge here. I'm not saying that, Leo, that you will be surrounded with Leos over here and it will be peachy. I'm saying you're surrounded with some who where you choose each other. You choose each other based on not sexual attraction, right? The sexual attraction in my book is a power thing. It has to do with power and control. Where this other thing can be about rejuvenation, peace, like the sense of home. So if you have a very stressful, like demanding job, you may like to come home to a partner whom you just click with. Like it's like you fit, meaning that there is a sense of understanding and support and both ways, right? Seeing each other's worth, accepting each other. It's like you just fit. Seeing eye to eye. And again, having maybe the same priorities. You understand each other. I think having many Leos in the same room would be quite interesting. That could be quite a power dynamic going on there. If all Leos are in their Leo power, that could be quite interesting. There could be maybe many heated discussions here, or many heated ideas also. Like a lot of fire, a lot of drive, right? A lot of drive. A lot of voice. Like Leos have to express themselves. A lot of like spotlight, a lot of seeking spotlight, almost fighting for it. If you have many Leos in the same room who all stand in their Leo power, all own it, that could be interesting. However, there are levels to the Leo energy, right? Some Leos who move beyond the normal success-seeking Leo energy. Like some evolve out of it, like they evolve beyond it. Because Leo energy can actually become from, like from maybe at a young age, seeking the validation, seeking the leadership position, seeking the spotlight, seeking the followers on YouTube or on, Facebook and so on. Seeking that outer validation from society and like putting your name in the history books, that kind of, that search for this, building this career or building this massive name around yourself. Some Leos evolve beyond that. Like at some point they may realize that this is fine, but there's something else here. Like there is something more here. Or is this why I'm here? Like, because usually the drive for this can be quite self-serving, right? Needing to have spotlight on me. I want my name in the history books. It is, I am the one in charge. It can be like a bit self-centered. Not to say that Leos can't like really, like Leos can push, like they can push through and like they can push through the barriers and get stuff done. Like they have the power or the net, like the people around them to somehow get that done. They have that leadership around them. And usually also a sense of respect if they stand in their Leo power. People respect them. And they tend to follow, right? If there's a leader Leo, people tend to follow somehow. It's just designed that way. For some reason, I feel like, because this could be what this is, as like an awakening to a different calling. It's like this power of yours. Well, of course it can be used for those things I just mentioned. And you can have a very prosperous and maybe very rich, like money-wise, rich life. But this here, this calls for something else. This is maybe that's why I said Uranus. It feels a little bit like a guiding light, but that's not at all. It's bigger. Like it's a guiding sun, I would say. You are the sun, but this is like a guiding sun guiding you then, right? And this is what sometimes happens with Leos. Like they move beyond like this social, or this status life. Like something else is called now, because they have peaked. Like they are standing on the peak. They've made it. Like they've done what they were feeling they were called towards. They're standing on the peak here. They sit on they are the CEO, right? They sit in this power position. And then I think sometimes something happens when they sit there. It's like, so now what? Now what? As a competitive fire sign, it's like that's not enough, right? It's like I sit here in this power position, so now what? Now what? If there's still a striving towards something, peak, another peak, needing another peak. Yeah, but which kind of peak then? If you have done everything you can in this earthy realm, in the life you live in. So if you come from a middle-sized town and you have become the mayor, or you sit well, what do you want then? Do you want to become a senator? Do you want to run for presidency? But if you become the president, you sit on this like peak of power here. What then? And this is where sometimes something happens to the Leos here. It becomes a different path. I'm a bit curious whether this is it actually. It feels a little bit like a calling for, I want to say, a higher purpose in some sense, that you can be a CEO in a firm, a law firm, let's say that. And maybe you usually have, like your law firm is primarily dealing with like business associate, like business clients who end up in different kind of cases. So you are dealing with these. This is about money, perhaps, liability and money, fraud or something. And of course there could be a purpose here, but maybe you've realized uh, like what was the reason for me actually choosing law in the first place? Why did I go that way? Why did I choose that to be my way towards success? Was there an original reason? And along the way, I got caught up in different opportunities. I got caught up in the money potential. I became partner, I became senior partner and so on. I got caught up in the system of this firm and actually losing a bit of my original perspective, because maybe my original perspective was to like change the opportunities for homeless or poor people. I wanted to help the homeless single or the homeless single mothers out there. Maybe that was my original purpose, but then I got caught up in like different other kinds of cases, and they took me in different directions, and now I sit here as senior partner. I sit as director of this firm, and it's just like something is missing. Let's have a look. The center card. This is from the mystical shaman oracle here. Let's have a look at it. The sacrifice. I can't even say it better. Like it's like it's like you could be standing in a situation now where you feel you have to, or you want to sacrifice something. Maybe you want to sacrifice something to pursue something else, right? Maybe you feel like you have to, if you want to pursue whatever this may be calling here for you. Maybe you realize you sacrificed something once, as I just said, like the original, like what was the original reason for you even joining the law firm in the first place, or choosing to study law? Like why did you do that in the first place? Did you have some kind of thing about like I get something about guns, like maybe let's say you grew up in an environment where there was a lot of crime, gang crime, and shootings, and you wanted to somehow be someone who could change some of this, right? So because it's scary, right? It's scary to grow up in a neighborhood like that. It's scary for children, right, to grow up like that. And wanting to have a world where it shouldn't be like that, right? It should be a more peaceful place, right? And those single mothers who live in those areas, perhaps they don't have much money. They can't even leave. They don't have money to to move somewhere else, and they don't have money to like maybe buy a new house or rent something new somewhere else. They feel stuck. And the children, like, they rely on the parent. If there's only one, they rely on her or him, right? But you see, it's like she opens her hand here and she lets this butterfly out, and it's like releasing something. And this makes sense. Like, if you like all your life, you may have done just one thing, right? You have everything you've done all your life was about advancement, perhaps, right? Like I just mentioned in this law firm, it was about advancement, like to climb up the hierarchy, to get to the highest peak of something. And there could be this feeling that this is what I've done all my life, or this is what I have protected all my life. This is what I have been working for all my life. And now I feel that I somehow have to let my baby go, or I have to let my, I have to release it. Maybe it could be a child, right? Maybe a child is moving out from home, and you have to just, let them. You have to let them. I get more though, like something about life purpose. Like I think for many Leos, it's important to somehow establish yourself, right? Get your name in the paper, being heard, get you that you're seen, heard, that you matter, that you have this leadership potential must not go to waste, right? It has to be used for something good somehow, right? It has to be used, definitely. In whatever way it has to be used. It has to be established in some way, whether you are on the legal or criminal side, but it has to be used in some way. And here it's just like I feel that you and this is like a deliberate action. She's looking directly at it. It's not a mistake. She's choosing this. She's choosing to let something small go. It's a fragile little butterfly here, as opposed to her, right? Like she would be the Leo here then, and then this would be something else that is very opposite than you. Like she's very big here. She can hold this one in her hand, like she can crush it if she wants to. But there's something pretty about the butterfly, right? And this, now I think about Pretty Woman, Richard Gere playing this. He owns, isn't it a law firm? I think that, and he's the boss of it, right? And he has made a business out of buying firms that are about to go bankrupt. And then he divides the firm in different smaller pieces and sells them, and together he gets a profit. That's how he has somehow managed to build his empire, his big business. He's very rich and he is very successful in that way. But then he meets Julia Roberts playing the prostitute that he falls in love with. She is in an entirely different place, right? It's like opposites, as I said. And the way she brings forth something to him, because his life has gotten a bit numb. It has gotten a bit like hamster wheel kind of feeling. And she comes in as this, you could say, totally different, like person, right? She has a very different vibe, and she has very different priorities, teaching him again to walk barefoot in the grass, feeling himself again. That there's more to him than his tidy business suits, right? That life is more than that. And he has somehow forgotten, right? He has somehow along the way, it has just been routine, and everyone around him expected him to just keep up this routine. That his priorities were the same. And suddenly he decided along the way, along the time he got to know Julia in the film, he changed his mind. He decided, instead of just, you could say, buying these firms that were about to close and go bankrupt, instead of, you could say, killing them, just taking them over and then destroying them piece by piece, he decided he wanted to rebuild them. He decided to invest instead, and trying to see if he could make them float and blossom again. So this is an entirely different approach to his way of feeling connected with the work he does. Does this make sense? So instead of just destroying something and selling it off to earn your money, you are now building something with someone else. The leaders of the potential firms here. So instead of just, you could say, as a hostile takeover, you buy them because the company has no choice. Like, they don't have the money anymore, right? So they need to they need that something is done. They can't keep it afloat. So he came in and bought it, but to dismantle it and sell it off piece by piece, and earning probably good money. But the entire point for him may have been lost along the way, right? His passion for something was for life. His passion for life, for feeling alive even, has somehow been, it has been disappearing along the way of his career. And she comes in as this bit of chaotic, fresh breath, you could say. And her viewpoint is from the streets. Her viewpoint is like she doesn't have money for just basic education. So her viewpoint is entirely different than his. He can buy anything. Do you get my point? That is the feeling I have here. Like that maybe, I have to let my baby go. Maybe the baby is, your entire work, maybe your lifestyle. Like this could be the feeling of changing your mind drastically. You're sacrificing something here. Or you realize something was sacrificed once along the way. And maybe, she's not letting it go. She's actually letting her hand out and see if it wants to come back to her. Can she attract it back? What she let out once, can she attract it back? But it means that you have to look at that sacrifice then. You have to face like the feelings of this perhaps. And the priorities. Sometimes this also talks about maybe a workaholic. And along the way, maybe they lost their marriage. Like they were so aligned with the work and not aligned with the family life, right? So maybe they ended up getting married. That could also be what this is, right? Like once I lost something here, but I'm trying to see if I can manifest it back into my hand here. I realize the sacrifice. I also realize the reason. Like the reason why something was sacrificed here. I see that I was a participant. I see how I somehow got lured in by an attractive partner deal, or I got lured in by the money. I got lured in by the prestige or the status or something. But actually, when I did that, and I grew, I became very big here because of that choice. But something else was sacrificed along the way. Maybe my original dream, maybe my original passion was sacrificed along the way for my fame. Like that was what I got. Like I chose the fame, the status, the popularity maybe, the money, the big house, I chose that, but along the way something else was sacrificed. And maybe you're trying to get it back. Like trying to call it back. Can I somehow remember, look back? How did I feel that? How did I feel when I was young and first starting out in this line of business? What was my original, drive? Like what drove me to even pursue this line of work in the first place? Because now I may feel like I have somehow lost touch with that. Like with the beauty here, right? I have lost touch with now I say the beautiful one. We could say it could be anything. I say that, or the precious one. I believe every zodiac sign has in them an innate precious or pure, something that is very pure and very precious to them, that we are all somehow defending. That this has to be intact in us to feel whole, or to feel that we are we are owning ourselves, you could say. Like we are in our own power, or we stand with the most purest form of us. And if that somehow is sacrificed here, if that at some point has been sacrificed, it would probably feel like something is missing, and I guess feeling unhappy, because it is the storyteller. It's the leader in you. In all of us, all the zodiac signs have their own inner, or it's the guiding star or guiding sun, as I said here. It's the deepest truth of your core. And if that at some point has been sacrificed for the money or status or something, and you no longer feel like that edge or that drive, or that the feeling of being alive in what you are doing, then something has been lost, or something is out of alignment with your deepest, innate, purest truth, right? And this is, maybe that's why I get Uranus here, because this is this guy here. He knows. He knows, and he's calling you here. He's calling you to reconnect with this. Woman holding a coin. This is a left card, and the left cards from this one, right? Left card sometimes can talk about the past, like that this could be something you have been focusing on in the past, having a lot of attention on this, and keeping it alive, I want to say, right? And if you look at the card here, well, it says woman holding a coin, so yes, of course, it may have had to do with money. Pentacles are more than that. This is about money, social status. It is about the ability to pay bills, right? That could have been a concern, like originally, there could have been a concern to establish yourself, to get the money, to do investments, to grow. But also look at her clothes, right? There could be something about fashion, style, designer clothes. Again, something about style, status, interior, like furniture, everything that has to do with style, fashion, clothes, makeup, Instagram, maybe here. Popularity, like looking good, right? Looking good, looking rich. Performance. I hear show, like maybe like keeping the show running. I hear like I have to keep this up. I have to keep like performing. Like this could be sales results and so on, but also maybe performing an identity here, an image here. like in older days, the way she looks here with like the clothes she has on and the hair, the big hair here, she would look a bit like, I would say, royalty, right? She would look like nobility, royalty. Getting her portrait painted, like that would be royalty also, or nobility, class. So again, there's something about the status, being photogenic. There could be something about being fit, looking great. Yeah, being fit, makeup, or if you are a man here, the six pack and fitness training. Maybe youth, like looking young and vibrant and strong, and yeah, again I hear performance, that needing to keep up a strong performance of something here. And with this deck, I had the flyer of the Magician and the Mirror. So for some reason, I feel like maybe you were in this period, or when you were quite absorbed with this, you could have been meeting a mirror. Like you could have been working with maybe as a co-worker or a boss, or someone who was opposite than you, and somehow I get to look at the cat here, right? It's not opposite, but it's a cat and this is a woman. It's a bit like the same here, the woman and then the butterfly, that there's something that is different than you, because it's not human, it's an animal. This is a little insect animal as well. It's different than you, and because of that, it's not doing the same as you. I can see it has a little purple band around the neck here, but otherwise it's not acting like you. The cat is a cat. It acts like a cat. It's not changing its ways. But you did. And that's what we do as humans, right? We can change our ways. We can do things according to what we think. The cat stays the cat. It will still run in the garden and look for mice, even if you feel like it shouldn't. That you feed it every day, so it doesn't have to, right? But it's an instinctual thing with the cat. It still does that. So the mirror could be that you were this and keeping up all of this, and then something else was maybe around you or with you, or and it didn't change. Like it has a certain fixed set of innateness, and because of that it stays a cat. It still licks its fur and everything, right? Even though you could wash it, you could bathe it, you could order someone to bathe it every day, it would still do that. It wouldn't change its appearance. It's not going to wear a wig. It would be your choice. You would put it on them. You would put the purple little band here on them. You would maybe dress it up, put on a shirt, give it a shirt, but it would never choose it itself. Like that is how innate it is with itself. It stays the same. But you could change, right? You could change your fashion style, your clothes, according to maybe what society dictates, maybe what the law firm dictates. What is expected? What kind of rules are there, right? And being concerned about the money, you would interact with the money. So whatever the firm may require, I interact with that, right? Whatever expectations are there, as long as I want to earn the coin here, I comply with that. I dress like that. I show up like that. I perform like that. You know, something like that. So at the bottom of the deck for the woman holding a coin here, I actually get this broken heart. The bottom of the deck indicates like the driver for this. So if you have a broken heart, you may, try to cover that up because it's a vulnerable state to be in. If people see your broken heart and your tears here, then you are in a vulnerable place. And again, now I get performance, like someone here may have decided to cover this up and keeping up a performance here of, like dressing in a certain way, being in a certain way, acting in a certain way, concerned about safety, security perhaps with a broken heart, safety, security, stability. That is normal if you have emotional brokenness to seek physical security. Because maybe you don't know how to fix this, but you can fix maybe something else then. Or you get concerned about this because you can have both. Like you can have like emotional brokenness and physical brokenness, then you're gonna die. Like this is the stability that you really need to survive even. Food on the table, a roof over your head. But you see, like she has much more than that. So a broken heart can lead you to a direction where you focus all your attention on this because you don't know how to heal this. Like this is a bruised heart, and we do that. People hide that. They put on a mask, a performance, and then they try to do the next best thing. They try to have like a maintenance of life here. But this is much more than that, right? She's quite rich and well off here. She has done, you could say, she has done quite well for herself here. But when I look at her, I don't think she looks happy. Like this performance here, like maybe the performance is actually what breaks her heart, right? Keeping up some kind of performance here again could be what actually breaks your heart. You know, your heart, as I said, everyone has some kind of innate, every zodiac sign, I believe that they, each of them, and Leos, I believe that Leos, they fight for something special. It's innately embedded in them. It's a like a pure, precious truth that aligns with them. And if that is compromised in some way, then something, and I want to say, for like, this is not for a Leo, which is so powerful energy, like a broken heart of a Leo, like this is a devastation. Like, think about it for a minute. The Leo represents the sun. If the sun was broken, think about that for a moment. What would happen to Earth then? What would happen to all of us? If the sun stopped shining, I know that this is maybe a bit drastic, but think about it. It will have, what is that called? What's it called? There will be an aftermath, right? Precautions. There will be precautions to a not shining sun for us here on Earth. Meaning that the sun potential of a Leo is, if it cannot shine its light, if it cannot lead, you could say, delegate, lead, and build in its particular innate area with its particular innate truth, then it will have an aftermath. There will be precautions to some out there. To some. That is how devastating, like an unfulfilled Leo, or a Leo that is not in the right, working in the right field, is performing something that is not in accordance to their true innateness, will lead to some kind of unhappiness. And it is lost potential. Like it's, and I think for whom I'm reading for, they know this. Like they have a feeling of lost potential. That it's like they know. Or maybe you have been feeling this most of your life. Maybe you have been recently feeling this with this guy around. That actually you are not at all happy. That there is a potential here lost. Maybe you got lost along the way, as I said, right? Let's have a look at the sacrifice. The bottom of the deck here, the lower world. Interesting. The lower world here. This is a driver, right? A driver that led to a sacrifice, or that is leading you now to try to call it back. So what does the lower world, lower world and broken heart kind of, you know, it's it's like letting the precious go. I feel like actually the broken heart and the, like they go hand in hand here. Like because this performance is done, this usually as a driver leads to this. Like so because of this, someone is acting like this. I feel like I feel an obligation here. It's like you have to keep up some kind of performance here, maybe because of someone. A child, children, maybe, maybe this is a sibling, maybe it's like an elderly parent feeling an obligation to perform in a certain way here. It's like, sacrificing your own potential. Because of some kind of obligations. It's like a fire sign that turns into an earth sign. Out of duty, obligation, family devotion, or family obligation, family ties, broken homes, turning into a reliable, stable provider, or good-looking, like a good-looking housewife here. But when you look at her, she's not happy. Did I say that in the beginning? Something about I don't know, but doing a job that you don't like out of, there could be fears here, right? But again, I must say, it takes a lot to kill the sun. Right? It takes a lot to kill the sun, to kill the precious, to kill the truth inside, or to not follow it. Like it takes a lot to not pursue it. For a Leo, like a Leo that has temper and drive and fire and power, like literally, how would you do that? How would you kill the sun, right? Is one of the most powerful energies that we know. Like it's their element, the fire element. This is their scene. This is where they peak, right? This is where they have the most power. But it doesn't mean that the other elements are not as powerful. It's just in a different way. Maybe you have come across an earth sign here that scattered you somehow, that somehow, or just earthiness, like earthiness could scatter it, but it's just still, wow, Leo. Earthiness is what maybe it takes to be here on earth, right? Earthiness is working, earning money, having, building a life, that the earthy everyday maintenance or hamster wheel could be the problem here. I would say normally, well, I don't know for Leos. I think that maybe if you lose someone here, like you have your innateness in you, like this fire, power drive leader in you that wants to establish itself. Or it wants to be heard at least. It wants to have its own meaning, recognized and respected and accepted, right? If you for some reason cannot do that, you are left with second best. Like you are left with second best choice out of two. And as I said, it takes, I don't know exactly what should be here, but it takes a lot to distinguish the sun. Like no other fire element can distinguish the sun. You have met up with some kind of maybe an opposite here. Like maybe you have met an Aquarius here. Maybe you have met an earth sign or an earthiness. Something about the earthly life or the hamster wheel thing that has somehow broken you. Maybe you lost, as I said, you had a divorce. Maybe you lost someone here. Because like the innateness in you, this driver leader in you, it asks you to go in a certain direction, to pursue something. So let's say that was work. And you put all your power in, all your everything in here. That was your baby, right? And you may have met up with beautiful women or beautiful men, and you were maybe married to them. And you could say, for a Leo, maybe losing their home partner, well, could that kill the sun? Maybe. Maybe. Leaving some kind of grief here, right? A sadness and grief, and needing to let them go. It could even be something like you realize that someone was only in your life for the money. That someone was only in your life for the money, not really for you, right? And it has left a state of the what we call the lower world here. The lower world can indicate, well, a low vibrational state of sadness and grief. It can also indicate that someone has died here. That someone has died. And they are literally in the underworld, like they have left the earthy plane. And you are dealing with maybe a sense of a grieving process here. Letting them go, or trying to get them back again. Maybe they didn't die, maybe they left. You want to get them back, because without them, and that is the funny thing about Leo, if you are in a marriage with someone, Leo, or have been, it's like everything you do on a daily basis on work is actually, of course, yeah, you may be leading and helping many people out there, but it also means a lot that those at home, that they see how much effort you put in, how proud they are of you, right? That they validate you, that they give you that appreciation, right? That you are appreciated and validated for all the work you put in. The money you bring home, of course, yeah, but that they see that you are highly invested. And yeah, it means a lot to help those people out there, but if the one at home leaves, it could scatter, like it could break, I think, here. It's not the same anymore. Like when you go to work, it's not the same. Like the same enthusiasm you may have had before when she was here or he was here supporting you, supporting your endeavor out here. They could see your potential. They could see what you did out there. They had respect for that. They accepted it. They loved the way they loved what you put in. You know? And they supported it and was like one of the main reasons why you may have gotten up every day and went to do this, right? Because you knew that they were generally supporting you. And now there could be this feeling that it's lost, like I don't feel it's not there anymore. Like, why am I even doing this? Without them by my side, or without as I said, if this is your inner drive that you somehow have lost touch with along the way, maybe you're trying to find it, right? Maybe you're trying to retrieve it from the lower world. As I said, you're trying to maybe manifest it back. Because you're not happy. Something is missing. And look at it, like it comes across as very small and fragile here. Or maybe fragile, beautiful at least then, right? Small and beautiful. And you know, a butterfly is a butterfly. It will not act like a human. You can't dictate it and tell it what to do, right? It has, as the cat here, it has its own way. It is what it is innately. So it could be the feeling of like reconnecting with like the innateness in you, like the truest core, the most precious, maybe your sense of your own holy heart, or your own holy path, or what is true or holy to you, right? And there's nobody who can tell you what that is. Only you know that. You know when you are disconnected from it, and you are on a path that takes you somewhere that is not aligned. This is what I feel like with this card. It's like something higher speaks to you here, like a higher self. Something wants to reconnect, I feel like, or you would like it. Somehow I get the feeling it's like you want to call it back into your hand here, so you can look at it again and become reminded. It's almost like no soul retrieval, or like a memory lane, like you try to go back in time to the lower world. It could be your subconscious here, right? That you are seeking some kind of information about maybe why you feel unhappy, right? You have, again, as I said, on paper it looks great. On Instagram it looks amazing. You can present anything that people may like really dream about, and still feeling unfulfilled. Because along the way something happened here. It's like it got lost, like I got out of tune with my beautiful one, with my innateness. And it's like I need to find it again. I remember this scene where Richard Gere in Pretty Woman, he walks with his bare feet in the grass. And his associate is just like looking at him like, what are you doing, right? Like this is a different behavior. You are out of tune, you're out of line. This is not you, he would say. But actually it is him. He has just forgotten, right? He has forgotten about the simple things, the small things. He has forgotten about feeling or sensing, smelling, tasting, things like that. And he has also forgotten to be a kind human person, which he realizes at the end, right? Because he has built his business by hostile money takeovers and dismantling the companies to just sell it off with profit. And he chooses his direction and actually wants now to build, to rebuild, to help other firms to stay alive. So he changes his entire perspective. And that is because of her. And I think that one of the things that Julia represents also in the film is that even though she works as a prostitute, but even though she does that, she has not forgotten her core. Like she is her. Like in everything she does, even as a prostitute, there is still a part of her in there. Like she has not left the building, you could say. She is there. Like her innateness is there. In the way she talks to Richard Gere, right? In the way she presents herself. She's not trying to hide who she is. Underneath the prostitute clothes, right? You can always sense her in some way. She's not just a doll that you can push around. You can sense her fluctuating energy, I would say. She's a bit like the butterfly. It's like you can't control her. She may be a prostitute, and normally, prostitutes are performers, right? They perform according to the wishes of the client. But it's like she's not that. Like she's a fluctuating butterfly prostitute. It's like you can't control her somehow. There is an innateness in her that is untouchable, right? And it's still there, like you can feel it in the way she speaks, the way she dresses, her flossing, her teeth flossing, and whatever she's doing. She can put up a smile, a happy smile, and look great, but she still he gets to know her, right? She cannot hide herself. She's that present, even though he hires her as a prostitute. Her little quirks shine through. And for some reason, it's like he sees that. He's reminded about something. And she is his opposite. So along the way, Richard sacrificed something of his own innateness to have the status, wealth, and CEO position. He has everything money can buy. He is an absolute attractive bachelor, and he could have many rich suitors or spouses. There are many to, choose from, but they all come from that environment. And it's not what he needs. He needs this other. As I said in the beginning, there's this comfort zone, and you can have like good time here. But when you meet with an opposite, this is where you are confronted also with your inner shadow and traumas. There is no better teacher, but staying with them is difficult because they will keep continuing pushing your limits. And for Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, Richard changed. She didn't really. Maybe a little, but she didn't really change that much. She figured out she wanted more for herself than being a prostitute, but that she wanted a different life. He showed her a taste of a different life. And in return, he was reminded of who he actually was. So, and he came looking for her, right? So that would be the romantic ending of that. But you see, it's like there is, I feel like here it talks about something that was lost once. Looking for it. Trying to either let it go here, like really, close a grieving cycle or close off that I have to let this go. I can't control this. Again, if this is a child that moves out from home, when they do, it's time, right? That they have to fly now on their own. Or at least they have to try, right? Even though we may fear for them, or even though we do not feel ready to let them go. Maybe you have a Leo child here, right? But it could also be, as I said, like this feeling that as Richard Gere, it's like it reawakens. He's reminded about something. Because Julia is standing there in front of him, asking him questions, becoming irritated and frustrated with him. And along the road, he discovers something about himself, right? He's inspired by her. And how she stays true to herself. it inspires him to look inside himself, to try some of the things, to walk barefoot. It's like she wakes him up somehow from a slumber he has been in, like the hamster wheel slumber, right? Again, I get the feeling of Uranus, and he is the great awakener. Let's have a look at the last card here. Hermit, but it is reversed. Interesting. Look at this card here, right? It shows a door, and then there are some keys up here. And the Hermit, well, Hermit is Virgo energy. The Hermit is usually, in other tarot cards, he is depicted as this, you could say this, he looks a little bit like an old wizard. He walks through the darkness here, looking for answers. He knows that something is off, and he is looking for those answers. He knows that this is maybe going to be a strange journey, and I bring with me a little lantern, so that I can just see a little bit in this darkness here. Right, I can discover something in the darkness. This is, however, interesting. It's like there is a calling for you to open the door here. I hear claim something. There is an invitation to claim something, but it's almost like, being scared of opening the door because you are afraid what you're going to hear. If this is the higher calling from God, or from your higher self, this is going to be a voice that you cannot deny. You have to go along with it. And it's almost like, I'm not sure I'm ready to open that door yet. I'm still trying to retrieve something, or prepare myself, or let go of something. And then maybe I can look. Yeah, it's like you are in a phase where you you're in a phase where you are either saying goodbye to something, or discovering something, or remembering something. And it's like, I have to get this done before I open this door. I do hear the call, right? I do hear it. I am preparing myself here in some way. Sometimes we have to let go of grief or something, so that we can actually embrace joy, or new times. Maybe this is about, letting go of, let's say, this is, I let go of, my normal salary, right? I let go of my normal salary to maybe, take half a year off, because there's something I have to figure out here. And I can't do that while I'm still in the hamster wheel. I can't do it. So I have to do something. I have to, maybe I take 6 months off, right? to sit with myself, to like really get in tune with myself, to figure something out, to grieve and let go, to transform. The butterfly also represents transformation. But it's almost like you're preparing for that journey, or you're preparing to open the door here, but not feeling quite equipped. I had that, what was that in the Taurus reading? Taurus? Maybe you're dealing with Taurus. This is Taurus is earth energy, right? Or you're dealing with Taurus energy here, which is about security, safety, money, money to live your life, money to have, or to have enough, being secure and stable. That's Taurus energy also. So if you're somehow challenged to let that go, or to have less, maybe, or you feel you have less, but it's like you may have less physical stuff, or less money, or like a smaller home, a different car. Maybe you don't have the New York apartment. You now live in the countryside. Maybe you live smaller, or less, or less expensive. But there's something to be gained in this change, right? What is to be gained? Well, definitely something about this, right? Something about maybe healing this is worth it. It has to be worth it. So there is a bigger truth, or there is a bigger calling that is worth it. Coin, and Taurus is also about worth, like feeling worthy and having worth in the things you do in your everyday life. That you as a person feel that you matter. That you have worth, self-worth, maybe confidence even. That what you are sacrificing here is nothing as to what you could gain. So the sacrifice is worth it, because you could heal something here, potentially, right? And you feel the call towards it, I think. It's just doing it. There's this, but I still have to just get my affairs in order here. I have to resign my job. Maybe there are some, I have to delegate responsibilities to others. Even sell the New York apartment. I have to find another home. I have to get settled there. I have to figure out how to get my life running there. Maybe I have to say goodbye to friends in New York. I have to, there are certain contracts that I have to end in order for me to open this door here. So and she's standing with her back turned to the door. So there could be a sense of reluctancy to make the sacrifice, maybe. Still feeling occupied, maybe with like letting go of something, or saying goodbye to something. There could even be, I said in the beginning, there could be a legal system here. Like, the hermit here with a locked door and the keys are outside. Well, this could be a prison sentence. It could be a prison sentence that you now are facing the justice system here, sentencing you to prison. As I said, the Leo energy, it wants to come out and show itself, whether it's on the legal or illegal side. You can be a crime boss as a Leo, right? But it doesn't mean that you are necessarily out of the legal system. You could be caught. You could be imprisoned. It's just how it turns up here with a closed door and the keys on the outside here. Leaving you, if you are on the other side of the door here, right? If you are on the other side of the door and you can't get out, it means that you are now imprisoned. You are serving a sentence. And when you are in there, you may be hearing this. We could even say that behind closed doors, even in your own home, you hear the call here of something. Something is directing its, you say, voice towards you. Let's have the bottom of the deck here for the Hermit card here. Yeah. So I get the Hangman. This is also reversed. Let's just have a look at the rest of the cards here. It's interesting. Yeah, they are all reversed. So it's interesting I took those decks then. So when you look at this, well, normally it looks like this, right? When it's upright, when you look at it in the reverse position, it looks a little bit different. To me, it looks a little bit like he's dancing ballet, actually, like this. Here, it's like he is. Here he looks more like he's hanging. Here he looks a little more like he's playing or dancing ballet here. The Hangman is also Virgo energy. Virgo can be Pentacle also here, Earth sign. So if you are a Leo with a Virgo or Taurus rising here, there could be something about upholding some kind of image here or mask or performance that is actually, it's done because your sun was broken here. Your sun was not allowed out, or it was somehow affected at some point. Hermit and Hangman are both Virgo energies. Virgo is a very different energy than Leo is. So I'm a bit the Virgo energy calls for something different than the Leo energy does. So for whom I'm reading for here, this Leo energy is not shining its brightest light, and powerful light, and that's why we have this here, right? It's so interesting. This is earthy, and for you not a good thing, right? This was not your normal choice. I took the mystical shaman, and the shaman cards always remind me also about something earthy that has to do with earth or animals or plants or nature or something. We have the little butterfly here that flies through the air, right? And then I said I had a ballet dancer here. So I don't know, maybe your innate inner self is definitely something else than this very practical, earthy. I get also a feeling of dense, like a very practical workhorse. I feel like something that puts in effort every single day. It's the same hamster wheel kind of maintenance that goes on, the same solid and reliable, stable effort every single day, right? That's very Virgo-like also, Taurus-like also. But there is no lightness of foot, I feel like, and that is maybe what you miss. Something light here. Something simple and free and light, right? That someone as powerful as you can stand here and be envious of the butterfly. Because the butterfly can just fly off, right? But you cannot. You cannot fly off. You are somehow stuck in something. You feel the call to change it. You're afraid to open that door. What are you going to find in there? Yeah, you may find the ballet dancer, which is the one that is maybe innately in you. Maybe that's what you always wanted. Maybe that's always what you, maybe maybe what you find in there. He even has wings. Like maybe you would be, maybe you would like to be a butterfly. That is the one you find in there. You as a butterfly. The journey towards becoming the butterfly. That if you open this door here, you leave this Virgoian kind of energy behind, and you are starting a process towards your inner butterfly. I don't know if it's a ballet dancer, but that's how he comes across to me. How he looks, like with his hands, the way his hands are his legs here. A dancer in some way, I feel like. So maybe you are a dancer, but that's not what you have been doing. Like you have been, maybe you have been in a business, like a corporate firm or something. or you were taught, like being a dancer is not noble enough, or it's not royal enough to be a dancer. That you are not supposed to be that, right? You are supposed to be like, someone important. You are supposed to stand out. You're supposed to become follow, in the footsteps of your. Maybe you were somehow obliged to take over a business, like a family business here. Maybe you were trained to be with economy, finances, or law, as I said. Maybe you were trained to be a surgeon or something, right? Because everyone else in your family have been that, and keeping the family business alive here. Doing something out of obligations but not out of heart, and you pursuing your own dream, staying true to who you were. It broke your heart that you had to choose this, and now you stand here still earthy, and you just see that the dream was once lost, and maybe you're trying to call it back. Remember what it was, right? He comes across to me like a birdie, like a fluttering butterfly, little bird here, light-footed, but also free moving. I feel like dancing his own steps, and he has these costumes on, right? That are maybe quite different than these. This could be a more fantastical world. Dancers, they perform in all kinds of shows, right? It's a different show. This is a show, but this is another show, right? Where you have where your sun is there, where you could shine all your full potential. So it's like being in an in-between feeling, I'm trying to figure out what it is that I have lost, or that I somehow left behind, or I got out of touch with. And I'm trying to remember something. The lower world can signify subconscious, that it has somehow retrieved itself into the subconscious mind, this memory or this feeling. And if I try to call it back here, then I also have to face it, right? That now it may become like an urge. Now I really want it. Like now I really have to pursue it. But for now the door is closed. You haven't opened it yet. Like the search for it. Open the door means that you will hear this, right? And it will ask you, as it says here, to fight for your justice and equality, right? Make the rulings now in your favor. Don't give up, right? You feel the call here. I think you can hear it. But there is maybe still a reluctancy, because if I do this, I may need to something may need to be sacrificed. Maybe my friends, family, my business associates, my colleagues, they will not understand me now pursuing becoming a dancer or something here. They don't get it. We could even have, when I look at this, it could look a little bit like a drag queen also here for me. That would be even more stigmatizing, right? This idea of like really leaving one scene of performance behind, and then entering another. Yeah, so I took another card on the Hanged Man, and here I get building your world, right? Building your world. Creation, expansion, and networking. So this is like, and again, she sits inside the tree here, or sits in like a little. I almost feel like hiding space, right? She sits here and is trying to build that world of hers. That whatever that is here for you, right? That it's something is maybe not quite there, maybe trying to remember. Trying to remember what the world is, what it is you were truly fighting for. As I said, this idea of why did I start out doing this in the first place? Did I have my heart in it when I start studying law or medicine or whatever this is? Did I have my heart in it? I probably didn't. Where did I have my heart then? Maybe it was dancing or performing. Again, this is a performance, but not this kind. So you did become a performer, but not in the way you would have loved to be, I think. This is a different scene. This could be theater, right? This could be corporate world. Still performing, but it's not the same. Not at all the same. Being here is terrible for you. Being here would be like healing from that, really getting in tune with what it is that is truly calling you. But it means you have to open the door here. And for now, it just may feel like you're not ready exactly. I think you feel the void. You feel like the in-between feeling, but not quite ready to take the new step. Because when you start opening that door, and you know that, when you start opening that door, there is no turning back. Right? Then you will have to fight for what it is that you want, and it comes with a sacrifice. As long as you are not holding it in your hand, there is a sacrifice. Your heart here. When you start holding it in your hand again, and you remember, and you open the door, there's another sacrifice. The life you have lived. Everything you have become reliant on, everything that has been your identity. Maybe friends and family will turn on you because they don't get it. So there is a sacrifice either or here. One was made a long time ago, I think, here. And to healing this and retrieving the memory, when you open the door here, suggests that there is another sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your current you to pursue the next thing. So I took a card on the lower world here, and it says action. And again, we have a black and white horse here suggesting opposites, right? So the lower world, your subconscious, you can feel it, you can hear it. There is a call here for you to take some kind of action on something. Something that you may not quite know exactly what it is yet, but you just know that it's going to challenge you. Like it will be an opposite situation. You have stability, stable things around you for now. And potentially you can risk all of that. Like that's the sacrifice, that you somehow may need to give that all up to pursue what it is that you otherwise are. Something you've always been. Something your heart beats for. Something you need maybe to fight for or seek justice for. To prove or to, advocate for. And I feel like it's like you feel like called to do something. So maybe you are saying goodbye to certain things here. You're getting your affairs in order, as I said, selling this New York apartment, finding a new place, moving, packing your boxes and everything, packing your things, moving them, settling in again. But it's like getting closer and closer to taking that action. Getting closer and closer to dive into your subconscious or your memories to figure this out. But you know that when you pursue it, there will be a sacrifice. And you are quite right. There will be a sacrifice to the life you currently have. And look at this, like the next card I take here for the sacrifice, I get healing the heart here. Like literally, right? Healing the heart. Power of self-love, right? So when you choose self-love, you are sacrificing something that was once that identity you had. And now you're trying to rebuild here. Like healing from something that led you on a path of performance, but it was not the right one, right? Looking for the healing, needing, I feel like the healing also here, needing it, and maybe discovering the power of self-love and that it's calling you somewhere, right? It calls you to change things in your life. It always does. Like awakening journeys are all about this. Hearing that inner voice. But I still get like the feeling of like opening the door and really showing people who I am, what I am, who I am, and start building my world and shining that true light of mine. Using my leadership now to build my world, my true world. Maybe as a dancer, I don't know, but it just comes up like that. It could also represent simply this idea of freedom. I want to be able to fly like the butterfly. And I want to be able to do it because the butterfly follows its innateness. The cat follows its innateness. Like the cat, it's so interesting. Like the cat is like you can't, maybe you can't force a cat. But it will just look at you like, who do you think you are? Like, what on earth are you doing? I'm not moving. And now I think about Garfield, right? It's like his way of owning his innateness is never affected by the others. Like they can do whatever they want. I still stay me. If I want lasagna, I want lasagna. If I want to lay down and sleep all day, I sleep all day. Right? It's a beingness that just stays true to itself always. And for some reason, I think that is what it requires, right? The amount of self-love here has to be, we would say, to a certain point. It has to be so fierce and so powerful that it can stand. It can stand even if others come in and may challenge you. Because you have been challenged before, right? So you want to make sure that you can actually hold the water, right? That you can hold yourself together. It has been suffering before here, and you want to make sure that it's not happening again before you open the door and let people see, right? Before you let them in and just witness a little bit of you. Before you may have feeling, like you have built your world up again. Before you have healed your heart. Can we have an advice, please, for Leo here? And advice in this situation, is Leo ready? Like, is Leo ready to open the door here? Can you give us some kind of advice here? I get Page of Pentacles here. So I feel newbie energy here. You are still you're still learning. You're still adapting to a new, maybe, sense of security or safety. You are still new here. This may still feel like an ace. Or you may feel like a child, like you are not, like a novice, like you don't feel quite stable enough. With this card, I feel like the advice is, I feel like take it slow. Pentacles is usually one of the slower energies. Just take it slow and steady, like. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Just slow and steady adapting here to something new. And celebrate your wins, right? Every time you feel like, oh, now I've actually realized something, or now I have grown, just take the wins, right? You fight for this new beginning. And yeah, you may know that I am on my way towards my new shining pentacle, my new sense of stability, my new sense of, but I'm still learning. I'm still in the beginning phases. And maybe that's also why the door is locked here. You don't want anyone to see, right? Again, I said before, it's like she sits. It feels a little bit like it's a little private hiding space in the forest, right? That she sits in, behind closed doors, a bit secretive, doing something here. And you are learning, right? You're learning, but it's still maybe a new sensation, a new feeling. And I get like slow and steady wins the race. Just adapt to some of this. Trust it, right? Trust it and adapt to it slowly and surely. And I also get like a feeling of maybe, like feeling young again, like feeling younger again. That could be a hint, right? A hint that if it makes you feel younger, or it makes you feel freer to play, right? If it gives you a sense of younger, freer energy, then I think it's for you. Then you should go like explore, right? That's what I feel like. This is what I have for you, Leo. I hope this helps somehow. Please give it a thumbs up if it aligns with or resonates with you. And again, I have at the front of my readings this time around, I have this clock, and in the, you would say, the hands of the divine here, it's like the readings I do for now is like like God's speed or divine timing, right? That it's all coming in divine timing. I feel like I should close off with that. I have the black with a golden core or with a white core, but a black candle, and this always tells me something about transformation, sometimes something occult or subconscious, or retrieving or soul retrieval, energy work. It's something that is in the more scorpionic realm, and for some reason I just felt like these readings, they were like this, like there's a lot of transformation going on for now. The black can also talk about death and rebirth, right? Death, rebirth, transformation of the butterfly here. Lower world also here. That there's something going on that takes maybe a divine timing to work your way through this and figure this out. But this is what I had for you. I hope this helped. As I said, take care of yourself, Leo. As always, love and light to you. Bye-bye.